Former acting secretary at the Department of Homeland Security, executive vice president at the Center for Homeland Security and Immigration at America First Policy Institute, Chad Wolf. Great to see you this morning, Chad. So far, 550 arrests in Washington, 76 illegal firearms taken off the streets. Pam Bondi sharing a photo on X thanking the men and women who continue to make our nation's capital safe, even thanking the canine there, as we can see in the photo. His name is Red. Chad, what do you make of the drop in crime and the effectiveness of the feds through these first 2 weeks of this crackdown?
Well, look, this is what leadership looks like under President Trump. And whether it's at the border, whether it's in D.C. or around the country, I think the president is not afraid, as we've seen over these past 5-6 years, he's not afraid to take hard challenges head on and to solve them. He doesn't like admiring a problem, doesn't like looking at it. He likes actually fixing things. And so when he looks around D.C. and he sees the out-of-control crime, unsafe to be in certain neighborhoods there, he's saying enough is enough. Let's fix this. Let's be proud about our capital. Let's be proud about D.C. And so he's surging law enforcement resources in there. And you can look at all the numbers, from robberies to carjackings. They've all diminished since he has surged these law enforcement into D.C. So what that tells you is that law enforcement, when properly deployed and allowed to do their job, it actually does work. It actually does bring down crime.
Yeah, Chad, I mean, yesterday, Vice President J.D. Vance weighed in on the situation in D.C., calling it a national embarrassment, praising the president for stepping in. Take a look.
And you talk to people, black, brown, white, so many of them are afraid to bring their kids into its public spaces. It's a shame. It's a blight. It actually should make every American ashamed that the world's leading superpower, our national capital, was unsafe for families to walk around at night. That is a disgrace. We don't think that it's acceptable, and thank God we have the presidential leadership to change it, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
I mean, Chad, when I looked earlier and I watched the people were screaming, dropping four-letter words and bleeped out material at the Vice President of the United States and the Defense Secretary, who were just trying to make the city safer. And then, that's how the response. It's really disappointing that they can't get beyond their partisan politics to see actual leadership making the city safe.
Well, that's exactly right, Mark. I mean, they're blinded by their politics. Instead of saying, look, this is about safety. This is about our community. This is about our children being able to walk around the streets of D.C. And look, just where the vice president was Union Station. And if you walk outside of Union Station in years past, you would see homelessness. You would see mentally unstable individuals that you would have to avoid because you don't know what they're going to do. So it's not safe, even at Union Station, which is blocks from the Capitol. So again, I think, you're always going to have a small set of agitators and protesters and others. But I think if you ask the majority of residents in D.C. that they are happy for a surge in law enforcement, they are happy for a reduction in crime, and they are glad to see that they're able to walk on their streets again.
Yeah, as people who lived in D.C., I know I always dreaded the walk from the curb into Union Station because you never know what you were going to find.
Yeah, it has been safe in a long time, Chad. And I want to stay on the topic of crime. And we're seeing a huge response on social media following a deadly truck crash in Florida. An illegal immigrant with a CDL behind the wheel of a big rig, now accused of killing 3 innocent people. This is hitting a nerve with a lot of Americans because it raises major questions about vetting. How did this happen? How does someone who is in this country illegally end up being able to drive a big rig across the United States?
It's absolutely a tragic story, and unfortunately, there's a loss of life here. This unfortunately goes back to California. This goes back to sanctuary cities and their ability to issue driver's license to illegal aliens and folks that are in the country illegally. And then, of course, once you have a driver's license, and in this case, a commercial driver's license, you can drive throughout the country. We're a very open society, and so you're able to do that. And so what California should stop actually doing is stop issuing driver's license to illegal aliens, folks that don't know the language, probably have a hard time understanding traffic laws and the like. And so, again, this goes back to California. This goes back to Governor Newsom coddling and really addressing that illegal alien population that he has in his state. He needs to take a firmer stance because it's not just, unfortunately, communities and residents of California that are suffering. You've now got places in Florida that are suffering because of his policies.
Information, truth, is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.